Hey guys, welcome back. In this episode, we're going to get this floor pan welded into the duster. Let's get going. So in the last episode, we've got that old rotted trunk pan out. The extensions are out. We did a few repairs. I wire wheeled inside all of the frame rails and treated them. And so they are ready to go. The surfaces are ready to go. They're prepped with the exception of weld through primer. We'll do that as a very last step. Now what we're doing is we're ready to put the floor pan in here so that we can get a mock-up of all of the rails so that I can go through and then drill all the holes we need for the rosette welds, just like you saw me do for the main floor pan. So let's get that trunk floor and set it in here and get it mocked up. Okay, it's in, I think it's positioned where it should be. And you can see that I've got a nice fit here. I've got a nice fit back here that matches the tail pan contour. So that looks good. It's sitting properly, sitting down flush. Really the only area that I can see that is not perfect is this section here. And so I'm gonna have to do a little bit of work. Of course, this will be filled with seam sealer like it was from the factory. They just gobbed it on here. But I can do a little bit of hammer dolly, maybe a little bit of pinch with the vice grips just to bring this a little closer. It's not going to be perfect. You can see here actually that this looks like it's been bent down. It does look like that's bent. I'm going to take a look at that. I'm going to pull the pan out. It looks like this curve is supposed to be higher and more pronounced, which might bring this back. Actually, I think that's what's happened. Okay, so we won't do that yet, but when this pan comes back out after we've mocked up the rails, I'm going to go under and see if this has been damaged maybe and push that out a little bit and cause this um, inner wheelhouse to be pushed in as well. I think that's what's happened because that's not meeting up there. That would explain that. This side matches up. Yeah, that's what's happened there. I didn't notice that with the old pan, so I think that's a pretty easy fix. We'll get to that once we mock up the rails underneath. Let's get to that now. So in case you didn't see the floor pan video, this is what I'm talking about. We've got the new floor pan, trunk floor pan here, and we've got our rail. We want to go along and mark the outside of that rail. So we know where we can drill. Okay, I wanted to get you in here. You see the white X. This is the underside of this section here that we noticed had a problem with fitment. And I think while the pan's in here, I'm going to go ahead and hammer this in a little bit to see if I can get it as close to the shape of the pan as I can. Maybe hard to tell on camera, but you can, there you go. You can see the gap. So I'm going to close that gap up and see where that leaves me. And I will attempt to push the inner wheelhouse in just a little bit. And that should address the issue of fitment we got there. So let me get that done. I'll pick you up. Okay, I think I've got that fairly close. So I pulled the pan out so I could get in here a little better, but you can see now I've got that nice arc, just like the other side. And this piece right here isn't as pinched and pushed as far as it was. So bringing this up, I also hammered the inner wheelhouse in. I think now we're going to have better fitment there. We'll know once we get the pan back in for the final weld in. And you can see here we've got the pan out, and it traced out as to where I need to go ahead and drill all of my holes for the rosette welds. So I'm going to get that set up now for drilling, and then we'll knock off all the burrs. We'll throw on some weld through primer, and it'll be good to go. Okay, trunk floor pan is drilled. It's all deburred. All that's left to do is throw some weld through primer on that side. On the top side, it's also all deburred, but importantly, all of that E-coat is off so that I can get a nice clean weld. So that part is ready. And then over here, this has all been acetoned, cleaned up, and then the weld through primer's on. A couple coats, so she's good and thick and ready to protect that before the new pan goes on, which is the next step. Giddy up. All right, let's get that trunk pan in here for the last time. Probably just jinxed myself. I did jinx myself. Let me show you what's going on here. So, right here is out a little too far. I need to come in right here. So I think I can just do that with the dolly. I think that's what it was looking for. Let's try it again. Yeah, that's a much better fit now. I think I'm in the right place. Yeah, got a nice flush fit here on both the top and the side edge, and everything's much tighter here now. So that is repaired and good to go. Let me get you in here a little better so you can see what I'm looking at. So you can see all of my drill holes line up nice. As I push that pan down, they sit real nice and flush. All the holes back here, again, nice and flush. And back here, just need to push her down, which we'll do with some self-tappers, some vice grips, and just using my hand. So, it fits great. That's it. The pan is in and she's ready to start welding. Let's get busy with that. Okay, you know the drill. We're going to get some self-tappers in here. Okay, all welded up inside. I think that turned out pretty good. Fits nice. Still haven't welded this area up here. 2 plug welds here and 2 plug welds there. I'll do that later once the car's up on jack stands, the tires are off, and I'm working on the extensions. I'll be able to get in from behind and dress those up and finish them off and plug them nice. So what's left now on this is the back. We've got to get in here now and weld up the back side of where the tail pan connects to the trunk floor pan. So that's next. Okay, a few updates. Got all the welds ground down inside the trunk area. Everything looks good. So this will get, of course, epoxy primed, and then there'll be light filler work all along the frame rail lines there, because we want this to be painted body color like traditional Mopars in the trunk area, and I want that to look real smooth and nice. So that'll get light filler work up along the edge there. That'll get, of course, painted, but before that it'll get seam sealed along there and all along the back of the trunk, and of course the seam for the extensions as well. But that'll come at a later time, but just wanted to let you know that all of this area here will get light filler work sanded, and that'll look really nice when it's all finished and painted. I have to tell you, on the back of the car, I had a real struggle. Not clearing off that E-coat on the floor pan made this a bear to weld. In fact, unusually hard. I don't know if it was a combination of that, but it felt like I was welding galvanized steel. It was just awful. But I've got that all welded solid now, and it's ground down. This is definitely going to need some light filler work and some treatment just to make sure that that looks clean. Even though this is covered up by the bumper, I still want that to look much better than it does now. I may do a little bit more sanding and metal finishing there before the light filler work, but that was a bear. I got a lot of hours into that trying to make that weld nice. It was just awful, but sometimes that happens. Thankfully, it's in an area of the car that kind of doesn't matter because it's going to be all concealed by the bumper later. But anyway, that's an update on that. So what's next is we need to secure this. This is, I guess, serves 2 purposes. One is these brackets down here are hangers for the gas tank straps, and then secondarily, this is what's used to secure the spare tire in here, of which there won't be one, but there will be a stock style gas tank. And so we want that welded in so I can use the traditional straps. I want that traditional look. This is not going to have a fuel cell or anything silly like that. It'll have a factory style fuel tank, and it'll look fairly stock from that perspective. So want to get this welded in. So that's the next step. Okay, so I think we'll plug weld this, and I think what we'll do is we'll do a plug weld. Just making sure that's going to be tight. I'll do a plug weld here, here, here. All right, I'm going to go and drill those 6 holes, and then we'll weld her up. Okay, got those holes drilled. All set there. Ground down on both sides, and you'll see I took off the E-coat where this is going to be plug weld. Do not want to have that experience again. So should be good there. Let's get the welder going and weld this up. Oh, one thing I wanted to mention was that this can only go on one way. Well, you can put it on the wrong way, but the way that it's supposed to go is with the smaller hole forward, because that's where the strap will come in and slide in and then won't come out. So if you did it this way, you'd be in a bad situation. So just to note that. Okay, that bracket's all welded in. The last step on this trunk floor plan is to install the trunk latch brace. So that's this piece here, and all I've done is clean it up, got it ready, prepped. All the surfaces are clean and ready for welding. You can see that all the drill holes that we have in here are going to be what I use to line it up on the car. So there's the holes there and the holes down at the bottom. That's all I need to line this thing up. That will give me all the bearings I need. So I'm going to get you set up to watch, and I'm going to go ahead and weld this in. Okay, all welded in. Just got some grinding to do to clean it up back here. And in here, a little bit of grinding again just to clean it up. But it's in exactly the same position as where we took it out. And yeah, we're ready to go. So let's give it a shot, see if the trunk closes and locks properly. All right, let's see. Yeah, just the way she should. Looking good, looking good. All right, good to go. All right, guys, all done. New trunk floor pans installed. Happy with how it's come out. It's time to move on to the next step. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next Friday.